welcome to another edition of JD's Theory. Today's theory is controversial. I can't speak. Controversial things. I'll read this list. I will explain each one in detail, the pros, the cons, all that crap. Um, so let's get to the list. We have, and these are in no order: porn, video games, music, movies, food, social media, sex, and football. The reason why I wrote these is because there was the thing I watched about YouTube thing I watched about porn, Steven Crowder, video games, movies, and music have always been a thing. Nobody really touches on food. Social media, that big like a year ago. It still is to some people. And then football. Okay, so with all of this is fine in moderation. I'm going to get a secret out right now. Moderation. Now, here's what everybody seems to go awry. They want other people in society to tell them when their moderation, what is their moderation. So just like everything else we do, we put it in general area, just like medicine. Okay, this helps the general people, might not help you, but it's just a guideline. So we have moderation for all this. You look all these up. You have to know yourself. You have to know what your moderation is. I do know mine. I'll explain that with each one I'm talking about. So porn came up with Steven Crowder. There's a thing that goes around saying, and this is because they took polls on people versus studies done on the effects. So it's kind of, usually the truth is in the middle because one says something else and the other one says something else. Polling people about porn is fine, porn helps sex life, porn helps sex drives, porn and expands the mind. And then you have, on the other hand, you have people going, well, no, it doesn't. It makes unrealistic expectations and demoralizes sex itself. It lowers sex drive. So they're kind of both saying different things. There's a happy medium. Well, about to get a little personal. I watch porn. I have, jeez. Usually lesbian or homemade is my niche. Threesomes are in there too. Wow, I'm gonna turn red. Anyways, this to fall asleep, helps me fall asleep. When that's just my preference. However, there are a couple things. We need to tell because now we have, I think it was 1 out of 10 children under the age of 10 is watching porn. There are unrealistic expectations to watching porn. It's fake. It's like a movie. But I know this. At first it scared me because they have to, I didn't know that they hire guys that are like 10 times the average size. And there are special, I did my research. So, we've got to inform people that it's just a movie. It doesn't happen. The pizza guy doesn't go to a pretty girl's house and she doesn't have the money. And I'm using the pizza thing because that seems to be like a trope. I've never actually watched that one. Anyways, but that's not how that happens. They don't trade sex for pizza. However, there are some people who do the open stuff. They do the orgies and all that stuff. But to each their own. You gotta know. You can't let your pornography consume you either. You have to know where your limitations are. You have to know that this is not reality. This is fake. This will never happen. You're not sleeping with your stepmom and your stepsister. That shit is not gonna happen. So you have to come watching this just as enjoyment. Video games are kind of the same way. People use video games to escape or become something else. You become that gunner in the tank, or you become that football player, that star football player. It's a way to release anxiety and tension, as long as you do it in moderation. It doesn't consume your every waking day. They've tried doing studies on video games leading to violence, and not one has shown video games lead to violence. Matter of fact, video games have been shown to help autistic children focus. So I'm just throwing that out there. As long as you don't let it consume your life, unless it is your job. I don't get mad because Ninja plays Fortnite 24 hours a day. That's his job. He's making money. Go for it. Music. Music is another misconception. It thinks that one of the bigger ones was that rap music was encouraging youngsters to be gang members. Some rap music does. Some rap music's all about the bling, and then we got pop music being all about the wine and the parties. As long as you know that music isn't expectation. Those people aren't living like that. Not at all. Those people are living, and it's really hard to come up with music and be relevant. Me, I like rap. I like country. I like rock. My favorite is rock. I call it like the 2000s heavy metal bands. Korn, Stain, Five Finger Death Punch, Godsmack. I use these to motivate me to clean around the house. It gives me energy. It also lets me express how I feel. I don't quite know the words all the time. So singing lyrics, angry lyrics, helps me release anger. I scream to it. Country music relaxes me, gets me jumping around. What really relaxes me is stuff like Pink Floyd, like The Doors. That calms me down, puts me in a chill mood. I do listen to pop music when I want to like dance with the children. So you gotta realize that it's not all reality. There is a Shinedown song called 45, and it sounds like a suicide song. But I listened to the interview from the vocalist, the one who wrote the song, and that's not what it was. It's about the 45 represents life. How much life comes at you. How much life sometimes feels like a gun to your head. So, moving on, we have movies. Again, fictional violence, fictional romance. You have to talk to your loved one about what their expectations from the relationship are. Even with porn, what their expectations with sex are, what their expectations of love are. Violence in movies is fake. It's all fake. All movie is escape to watch something else. It's nothing to do with your life. Food. Again, moderation, man. I used to drink like 2 liters of Mountain Dew a day. So much so that if I didn't, I'd be okay the next day. But the day after all the caffeine had come out, I'd get a massive headache. Became one so bad that one time I had caffeine withdrawals. And it sucks. So, I moderate. I'm down to like 1 to 2 12-ounce can a day. I'm gonna get rid of it altogether. I have to focus. I usually have my water bottle. Sometimes Logan steals it because he loses his. So, then we have social media, because people have this tendency to get hooked on likes and follows, and social media is good for branding. I use social media all the time to get my stuff out there. I'm not going to reach a larger audience just talking to a certain few. I need to branch out And the more I use social media, the more it gets me out there. But I use it in moderation. I'm not on it all the time, looking for those, those likes and those replies and going, because that induces endorphins to make you feel better. You should rely on yourself to make you feel better, not the likes you have on social media. Sex. There are sex addicts. You have to know what you want and how much you want it and the ability to achieve it, and you have to moderate it. Somebody's sex during the week may be fine with not having sex at all, sex a couple times, sex every day during the week. Football. I bring football up because the controversy with the Browns and the Steelers, that seems to be a really big topic right now. The Browns cannot conduct themselves professionally. And then I listened to a group of panelists talk, and I usually don't agree with the guy. The woman, see, I don't even know their names. The woman and the man said that in the heat of the moment, it just happens. I hate that. I hate that analogy. Well, they can't control themselves. Impulse control. And he brought up a very good point. He was trying to say, and they kept yelling over him, he was trying to say that if that was Tom Brady, he wouldn't have done that. He was trying to say that his impulse, yes, he had an urge to be violent. However, because it was a second-rate quarterback, not Ben Roethlisberger, it was okay to do it. The repercussions on a basically almost a nobody is not as big as the repercussions would have been if he would have ripped off Tom Brady's helmet. Probably would have been fired. I'm just being honest. But in knowing that, he would have stopped himself. He would have had the impulse to do it, but then he would have kicked in. No, I shouldn't. So, I've talked your ear off long enough. That is my theory for today. Tune in next week, next Friday, for another theory. Till next time, much love, JD, out.